Okay, new day, new seal acquired and installed and put back together. So hopefully this doesn't leak. Now I just gotta find out what oil goes in here and fill her back up. I think pretty sure it's a special oil that goes in there. But since it was leaking, we were just putting the cheapest gear oil we could find in there because having some oil in there is better than none. And we didn't want to worry about this mid-season, so we just kept adding oil of not the right kind. Now I feel like I should maybe put the right kind back in there because obviously it's calling for a certain oil to help with cooling and everything, I'm sure. I don't know, I just work here. But Adam, would you text me back already? Now what's left on this machine? Clean the cab because it has not been cleaned from last fall. Grease it. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it because everything else has been filters all changed, leveled, blah 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 blah. Maybe calibrate. Oh, gotta put these covers back on. Yeah, we gotta do that yet. And I think that's it then. Yeah. Sure, there'll be 10 more other things that show up. Guys, I absolutely love it when stuff just magically breaks itself while sitting in the shop. This combine came in here last fall, everything was working. And here I'm greasing and I got a belt hanging here for God only knows what reason, I guess. Where does it even go to and why? Yeah, I'm not sure how, but that's not on the pulley. Gotta figure that out, I guess. Okay, the only explanation I can think of for this is the mice are getting crazy and causing an army. I still don't know why, but my return, which is that pulley right there, the belt is just not on. Unless they took it off, I guess, when they replaced that chain in there. That could be, so they could spin it. And then they just didn't put it back on, and now I have to do it. I know Brandon and one of our buddies came out and was working on these last fall, or last winter. I don't remember when it was. Maybe that's what happened, it's gotta be. I think I'm gonna stick to my original philosophy or not philosophy, smart person language of mice are just getting very smart, and I don't know how this goes. I might need help. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna put you guys down. Okay, belt is back on. I'm assuming that when they changed the chain that was in here, they loosened or took that belt off so they could spin it or something. That, or it was my first theory, the army of mice. I don't know, I just work here. Oh, we're jumping around quite a bit here. Combines are mostly done-ish. We obviously pulled the grain cart in, as you can see. The tractor needed an oil change. The automatic greaser here needed to be refilled. This thing's got pumped up. I do have to run a grease gun to all the bogey wheels in this thing and whatever the automatic greaser does not get. Cameron's blowing out engine air filters on this thing, and I think I gotta change the gearbox oil in the gearbox. I'm gonna be, what the? Sir, are you okay? Someone must have hit his head on that window really, really hard. Got a bit of a headache? I think he'll be all right. Poor feller. He just thought he could get in that window. Change the oil, I need to get my pan cleaned up. I had that giant filter sitting there. So we put all of our used filters in a tote like that, and then I guess one day we'll decide when that's full what we're gonna do with the used filters. But that's future me's problem, not present me's problem. I need to get a few more things out of here yet. This seal and this rag. I believe there's a good amount of oil in here. Yes, there is. Used oil also goes into a tote, and then I try to just sell this on Facebook Marketplace. Guys like it to heat their shops in the winter. Our shop is not heated by used oil, so I don't care. I just get rid of it. By the way, this will be on Facebook Marketplace for $100. Those of you that want it, I don't know. I just work here. It's not full yet, but we're getting there. It's just sad that this is our only like small catch pan, and then there's our large one. But for gearboxes, this is what I use. I guess you really only need one, right? Okay, got that puppy under there. Looks like it is all Americano, like it's not metric. Oh cool, it's an Allen head. I think that's what you call that, a hex head. I don't know. I just work here. How do you fill it? We've changed the oil on this thing before, but the we is not me. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go. Now I know a lot of you probably don't care, but I know there's gonna be a bunch of you asking, where have you been? Why haven't you been uploading? Blah, 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 blah. And I don't need to explain it to you guys, but I don't know, this time I feel like I will. And those of you that care, you can listen to me talk about it while I change the oil in this gearbox. And I look for my proper Allen head. I'm gonna guess it's this one, just because it's been obviously used and it is standard. I don't have a ratchet. This one's gonna have to work. So back to where I was going with this, where I've been. As some of you probably have noticed, and I've noticed in previous videos, I've lost a lot of weight. So I have just been, honestly, this summer, taking time for myself, just been working on myself in all aspects of life. I'm gonna get all dirty. Look how dirty this floor is. We have a floor scrubber and their floor looks this dirty. Our guess was correct. That oil looks brand new. As I said, this oil literally looks brand new. That is clean. Just said too, we just replaced this oil last year in this gearbox. So as good as that oil looks, I'm not gonna waste oil. I don't think that broke down at all. We're gonna keep running it. I obviously gotta add some because I halfway drained it. Not replacing the oil. Just checked it and it looks good. Anyway, like I was saying, I've just been focusing more time in spending more of my time and thought in making myself a better man and growing as a man, not just physically, but spiritually too. This whole recording stuff, believe it or not, it seems easy because all I do is grab a camera and walk around and record as I work and literally live life, but it is a lot harder and a lot more draining than a lot of people think. I always thought it was super easy before I actually started doing it. Whenever I'm recording, I'm always thinking of you guys, trying to think of what I can say, the next dumb thing I'm gonna say, what's the next good camera angle I can get of a tractor driving, what's a different shot over here versus over here, trying to make the content actually halfway decent so I don't completely bore you guys while you watch this stuff. My mind is always thinking about a lot of stuff like that, therefore I'm not able to grow in my faith. This last summer I just took a lot of time not thinking about recording, not thinking about constantly just working all summer, because in order for me to be recording what I'm doing as a farming YouTube channel, I actually have to be working, and that takes a toll on a guy too, working so much, a lot of long hours. I just needed some time off. I needed some time to, like I said, grow spiritually and spend that time thinking about Jesus and trying to learn more about my faith and grow in that aspect of life. I am trying to find a balance now, hopefully, of recording and still growing as a man and in my faith and working on myself. Yeah, I'm just trying to better myself, and that's kind of where I've been this summer. Kind of went through a couple hard patches and still kind of going through a hard patch, but that's life. But harvest is not going to wait for me to get through my hard patches and get through, it's not going to let me just keep working on myself. So we have to get ready. Like, harvest is probably going to start this week, and I'm going to try and record all of it for you guys, because I keep getting asked, when's Preston uploading a new video? When's the new videos coming? Why isn't he uploading? And well, that's why, guys. Okay, I'm back-ish, maybe, who knows. I don't make promises, but I do have to get this thing greased, and I'm just walking around. Actually, first let's get that oil refilled in that thing before I forget, and then we really have a gearbox go out. Joey would not be impressed. What size wrench is that? Kind of looks like a 7/8, but also kind of looks like a 15/16. So yeah, there's my whole spiel, and I've also just been reflecting a lot on whether or not this YouTube thing and this channel is gonna get me to heaven, because ultimately that is the end goal. Cameron is getting a little bit of air filter blowing done. Was it fun? You were out there a while.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Pretty bad, I think we should probably have new ones, but we're just gonna send it. Not even $9 beans don't pay for new filters. So this one's gonna end up on a prayer of the tractor engine not needing new filters, and just cleaning them is gonna be good enough. We did change the oil though. That, I don't know if just a prayer is gonna be good enough for that. It was due. I think we were at like 300 hours. I think we should do 200. Joey thinks we should do 250. We were over on both of our ends. Okay, I've done next to no greasing. Also, fun side fact, I absolutely hate lock and lube grease tips. My brother Brandon loves them. Why do I hate them? Because they're big, awkward, bulky, and you can't get into places. And like, please explain to me how that's so good. Now, if I have a normal grease tip, I can like push on it and like apply pressure and like wiggle it around. As you can see, applying pressure does nothing and the grease still splooges everywhere. Exhibit B, why I don't like lock and lube. They're junk. I do like their pressure release system. Out with the junk and in with the normal. This right here is my favorite type of greaser. Just the normal one. Normally I wouldn't put such a fat one on there. Fat ones seem to grab on a little bit better. This one's a little higher PSI, and that's the only new one I have hanging up here on the wall. I gotta get some more. I do like the little thinner ones because you can get in better areas, but this just plain normal grease fitting, because all grease fittings wear out, and this one's just easier to get in spots. Ready guys, watch this. Put it on there. I probably won't even have to hold it. Look how crooked that is. It just goes in. I need a lock and lube. Why? Yep, we just ran out of grease. But look at that. It's on there crooked, and it all just went in. Not a single drop of grease made it on the ground like the lock and lube. That's supposedly so good. I'm clearly not paid to say that. I should be paid to say that it's trash. I do really, like I said, they do got something figured out here with their pressure release system, because these Milwaukee grease guns, if a greaser will not take grease and it really over pressurizes, that's how you start ruining tips really quickly, or ruining grease guns. I've wrecked a few Milwaukee grease guns because I over pressurized them. But sometimes I don't understand how such an easy job like greasing can go so difficult. Here to change my tube, and I broke off my thingamabobber to get it off, so now I gotta go find the pliers. And this is another thing about recording. All the work you do takes so much longer because I left my camera here mounted on the grain cart and then I walked over to get tools. I could have just fixed this issue walking over to get tools where I got the tools, but no, I had to walk all the way back here. So you guys could watch me do it. I'm not complaining, even though I kind of am. Working just takes probably 20% more time than it should, but it's also kind of fun because I get to interact with you guys. There, we got that horrible scenario fixed. Gotta look at the bright side of things. It's 2025 and I'm not using a hand pump grease gun, it's electric.
Then I'd really have something to complain about.
Okay, since I already forgot because I was distracted recording, I sent Cameron to refill the gearbox because like I said, I already forgot. So he's getting that refilled. And like I said earlier, greasing can be such an easy, simple job, or it can get really hard and difficult on you and you get really frustrated. Should be so simple, but
Little things like this can happen where the grease gun just quits pumping for some reason and you still have grease. It just gets an air pocket and you don't know why.
come on!
It's not working.
I'm putting a new grease tube in. I think my air bubble just released. I don't know if you guys heard that. Come on! I hope you guys enjoyed that upside down camera angle, and all of you that were using your phone turned your phone upside down. Or maybe JT, my editor, is such a good editor and he just turned the frame around so you weren't upside down, but I did have the camera recording upside down. Okay, I don't know why this got an air bubble, but it absolutely would not take. So we're just getting a new one and throwing away this eighth of tube of grease. You guys on? Yeah, you are. I'm back. If this grease gun doesn't grease, it's going in the garbage. And then I'm going back to hand pump greasing. No, I'm not doing that. Usually if you like pump this thing, it like kind of presses the grease into the screen and it works. I don't know. I just work here. Hopefully we got it now. Hallelujah. I finally get the grease and the greaser doesn't take grease. Shift into first gear. Ready? And now we plugged in first gear too. There we go. It's taking-ish. I see splooging happening. So this is where the lock and lube little like majigger, since I'm over pressurized right now, I could quit going in. If I try to rip that grease fitting off there, it's going, that's how you ruin the grease tip on the grease gun. So I just turn this valve right here and it releases all my pressure. Now I'm able to just pull it off. And I tighten it back up and we move on to the next one. Oh, don't do that. I think I just broke the grease gun. That's not good. Guys, don't tell Joey. It's not supposed to sound like that. Oh, that's a good sound. Come on, take grease. And now the grease gun's working too. Whew, I thought I was gonna have to tell Joey I broke another one. And of course, I dropped all this grease all over the shop floor. It ain't perfect, but it's gonna be good enough. Okay, I just double checked with Cameron. The gearbox has been refilled with oil. So if it goes kaboom, Joey, it's on recording. It wasn't my fault, it was full of oil, it just wore out. Now, another arch nemesis of mine, kinda, they can be very easy, also can be very difficult, and maybe you guys can relate to me, is greasing PTO shaft U-joints fittings. There's a grease zerk in there. I gotta try to line this stupid thing up, which I mean, isn't that hard. Like in all reality, I really shouldn't complain, but it's just kind of slow and inconvenient and I shouldn't complain. But yeah, now I gotta grease the PTO shaft and I just kind of despise doing this. Like this one's all nice and convenient. It's all lined up. Like I don't have to line something up. And it's so light. You know, we need all these safety shields so that way they stay safe, which makes it all the more complicated to get at the grease fittings. And then I always manage to wear the grease. And this one's really not wanting to line up. This shouldn't be this complicated. I got grease all over my hands. Who the heck gave you that job? That was pretty easy.
You.
That's right, I did. I did. I told him to get on the sweeper and the scrubber and clean this darn floor. We own the thing, and our floor always looks so dirty. I'm like, let's clean up a little bit around here. Go drive around the equipment and get what you can. You know, it might be just time to throw this grease gun in the garbage. It quit pumping on me again. I hope I was recording that. I am, let's go. So yeah, when you have a new grease fitting and it just doesn't, it locks on so good. It doesn't want to come up. Oh, that's what I've run into now. You know, this Monday is definitely a Monday. An easy job has been awfully time consuming. Give me my tip back. Oh, that could have hurt a lot. And it still didn't give me back my grease gun. Okay, here we go. Why did it come so easy now? It actually kind of did hurt my shin. We're almost drawing blood. I don't know what I did, but we're drawing blood. Okay, I'm gonna think like a monkey or Tarzan. Crawl up here. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. There we go. Why I crawl up here, you ask? There's a grease zerk. And there's a few more up here. Oh boy, this is scary. I'm gonna fall. Ah! Okay, we're in. That is a bearing, so I don't think they take a whole lot. But we got it. Now I gotta get out. Now I gotta get down.
I assume we're still recording.
We are. Maybe up here is a better option. Can I get my foot down here? Oh boy, it's sliding. Hey, down is better than up. There's honestly not a whole lot to this, just maintenance. She's greased, ready to go, I believe. I'm like 14% sure of that. Tractor's been all maintenance. Oh, wait, I gotta grease that yet real quick. I know Brandon took the brains out of it, which are right here, for the scale and everything, because he wanted to get it updated so that way the combines could see how much weight was on the cart. I think, because we don't have the side leaderboard basically to show how much weight he has. I know Nibbles was in that trap, camera must emptied it. But yeah, we never actually ended up making it to Fargo and getting that updated. So that's not happening. He was gonna put that back on. I'm gonna let him put that back on because he took it off. I don't wanna put it on wrong. You cleaning up?
Yeah.
So a little random fun fact. A guy showed up in the yard and wanted to tune a bunch of our equipment, turn up the horsepower and all this stuff. This combine got tuned, supposed to help improve fuel economy and bump the horsepower up a little bit. Honestly, mostly did it because fuel economy, these 790s love to drink fuel compared to a 780. It is ridiculous. So we tuned one of them, number 2 here, because I like to give big smoke. And at the end of the day, if I need less fuel than the other guys do, we know that tune is working. And then we also tuned the grain cart tractor, and them tunes are supposed to be active, I believe on October 1st is when he said that set them to kick in. So we shall definitely see if I like them, and I'll give you guys my honest and brutal opinion if it was worth the money, or if it plainly was not worth the money. But Agro Echo Power was the guys that showed up in the yard, but they can tune apparently anything. So we did those 2 things, and it's like I said, it's going to start October 1st. We have a 1-month trial. If we don't like it, they'll come take it off and give us our money back, which is awesome. So you guys are going to get my honest opinion on whether or not it's worth the money to tune for fuel economy and a tiny bit more power. They said they won't tune over factory specs or like recommendations of what the engine's supposed to handle. They'll only go to what that max is. They will go above if you beg and plead for it, but they said they probably won't warranty it then. I just work here. We're gonna give it a try. Might be a money scam, but Cameron's getting the shop looking a lot more spiffy. First he's running that sweeper. I told him to jump on the scrubber then afterward. But this cart is done. Tractor's greased, so I'm gonna back this out. Hopefully it doesn't blow up because I changed the oil in it. It could happen. You never know. I'm gonna take a broom and broom that dust onto this oil so it absorbs it a little bit before he comes and sweeps it up. Well, that's kind of scary. It's raining mice. Little Nibbles here just fell out of the sky. I'm kind of scared another one's gonna fall on me. That means there's mice in the walls and in the door. I do not. Nibbles is probably one of my biggest fears. I hate mice. Now they crawled up there. They got ninja powers. I think Nibbles maybe died on impact though. He don't look too good. I'd like to know, what are some of your guys' biggest fears? Some people are terrified of snakes and spiders, and them things don't bother me if I know they're not gonna kill me. Like, I could care less. Mice though, they're one of my biggest fears. They could kill me. They're probably not going to, but I am definitely scared of them. Okay, I'm gonna get the grain cart backed out. Cameron's still just driving around. He could probably sweep underneath it then too. Yeah, I'm making more work for him. You got a heart on that sweeper, don't you? Now, the way my Monday's been going, the tractor won't start and I won't be able to get this backed out. Now, which combine do I want to bring in? They all kind of need a little bit yet. Not much, just a little bit. I think I'm gonna do number 1, Brandon's combine, because that one needs the sickle put in, and there's something else that I can't remember that I'm gonna, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna bring this one back in though. I don't know about you guys, but when I get in a combine and start driving it, especially with a header on, I don't know, it kind of just gets a guy excited. Like, combining is fun, or can be fun, as long as the stress is low. The everything is working, which is a lot of things. Yeah, the everything is a lot. Kind of exciting. Does anyone else get that feeling? We're bringing this big girl in here. And the AC is not on in here and it's warm. You know, we made this shop with a 50-foot door so we could drive our combines and headers in. That was before they made 50-foot headers. Like, literally the year before they made 50-foot headers. Once we make that upgrade, which with sub $9 beans and sub $4 corn, it won't happen for a while. We're gonna outgrow our shop, which is not cool potatoes, but there is, I mean, we can pull a header in there and then hook onto it. Oh, I remember the other thing I had to do this combine now, but the first thing we have to do is get the sickle. Okay, we did pull the sickle out off camera. Got her all rebuilt, but I know that this end is not tight and I'm missing a bolt there I need to find. There, that should have been the just right amount of Oogadogas, I think. Double checking my work. Wrist tight is usually what, at least my wrist strength tight is usually what you want for these small 10mm or whatever the size bolt you call it. Well, we did strip that one, so I gotta get that new one, and then that one's missing. Also, another reason this didn't go in is because this plastic bushing, when I took it apart, I know was bad and shot, so I had to get some parts and get a new one of them ordered, and it's in there now. I gotta re-torque this bolt on. This one was good and tight. The other two headers were good and tight. It was just the one that was slopped out. So we gotta get a grinder, get this zipped off, and find ourselves 2 new bolts for that. Actually, before I just start grinding, I wonder, I didn't even try to turn it out. Gotta be ripped off there. There we go. I used the squinting for the eye protection. Works pretty good. That is not a hammer. There we go. There we go, those 2 little bolts are fixed. Now, I don't know if I should torque this yet because it does need to be set to a certain setting. I think I'll wait with that. I think I'll shove it in first. I think I need Cameron's help more though. Oh, that's not cool. I was shoving that in and I was a little loose. Oh, throughout the shop, I set up all these little homes for Nibbles. So if he ever feels homeless, he has a place to stay. I hope he really enjoys that. I noticed not only is that loose, there's 2 bolts that hold that outside guard on. I'm missing one of them, so I'm now guard bolt hunting. Which I think I found one. Let's go. Okay, that's a little long, but I don't care. Guys, something went right for us. I had the whole sickle slide in without it catching a single time, which was beautiful. Typically you need 2 guys, kind of the end gets caught and what have you. Okay, where did my bolts get put? There they are. Okay, I got my bolts all set and I use my ichrometer to determine how far up and down that whatever you're gonna call this thing goes. I think it's set good. I'm just a fraction off the bottom. Now I just gotta get them torqued, and the torque spec is 96 foot-pounds. I really just wanna use some Oogadogas, but this I feel like is relatively important. Unless I'm in the field, I do try to torque them. Right there, I'm catching. So now the real question is, how do I, by my lonesome, hold this down and push in the sickle? I do have Cameron right there. I could tell him to come help me, but that would require me asking help. We're gonna hit it with a hammer. Well, it worked for like 3 inches. Cameron, come help me. I see why it wasn't going in. We're hitting over here. We got it with only 1 catch. And this skid plate is just non-existent anymore. Okay, I believe everything I can do to this combine is officially done, except for one thing that I need parts for yet. And that's these poly skids under here. Them need to be put on, but I don't have them yet. Them should probably be replaced. So I don't have all the polys for this header, but I do have most of them. Like my outside left one, I have that from last year, leftover parts that we just had on hand. And then I do have the large center. This one, I think I'm gonna do it like it's off there. And then there's a giant piece there missing. So I think I might as well, beginning of the season, get this one ripped off. But then there's only, what was it, 4 of them on this header that I want to do these little ones. I have the big one and I have my outside one. While this combine's in here, we're gonna get these few put on. Not hard to do, just drill rivets and then rivet it back on. Okay, 1 new poly on there. Good as new, because it literally is. Cameron's finishing up the last few rivets on the center. I think I'm backing this machine out for now. The last thing is 4 of these middle center ones. While I wait for Cameron to put in the last few rivets on the header, I came down and I'm gonna dump our garbage incinerator here. Yeah, If you guys don't have one of these, you need one. You can burn your garbage in it. It's absolutely awesome. And then when it gets full, you just pull that key, take a hammer and pound this out, and it's gonna drop down. And then we just put the ash in our perfectly clay lined and plastic liner pit here. I've never actually done this. This is the first time. But these garbage incinerators are awesome. I'm probably supposed to have this on the ground while I do this so it doesn't just fall, but that would make sense. And I like to do things the hard way, as you can see. Well, Brandon just got home from town. He pulled the grain cart in again and got the brains put back in. And then also, I forgot we had to switch to a Cat 5 hitch. So we did that real quick, filled it with DEF since we're parked next to the DEF tank. Nice when stuff just kind of flows like that nicely. Now, this combine's done other than them 4 polys, as far as I'm aware of. Them will show up tomorrow. Brandon's doing a little bit of cleaning job in his cab since that is his combine and it's not his beginning of season standards. Them standards go out the window after about day 3 though, for just about all of us. I don't know if this camera makes me look like I'm smarter or something or not, but I kind of feel like an idiot right now, and it doesn't. Stuff is always, like, I don't know everything. I don't know like anything. I do know that before harvest, you go through and you check all your oils to make sure that they're like to spec and you don't got seals out and they're leaking oil, and just make sure everything's full. Well, this here looks like a gearbox. I went to check the oil in it. Right there it says fill with that oil and have it run out the hole. I didn't know that it's supposed to run out this hole, not this hole. This header might have a little too much oil in it. Common sense would have told me this. We found that out the hard way. Luckily there's only one header, and I don't think I put too much excessive oil in here, but there's definitely too much. I'm gonna quit and level this gearbox out by lowering the header first a little bit, so I know exactly how much oil it's supposed to have. Well, let's see how much oil comes out of here. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll get about 1.5 gallons, maybe a gallon, but that's definitely my like max fill hole. Yep, and that's about how much oil came out. Oh, good thing the jug was almost empty when Cameron and I were filling this, because otherwise we probably would have dumped an entire jug in there. I'm like, wow, this thing was empty. And at least I caught it before major destruction happened. Last year, this fan, I think it was just the fan that blew up. I don't know. I don't remember if the gearbox did too, but I'm gonna check the oil in it here. I know I was gonna change the oil in one of them, and I started draining it just like I started draining the oil on the grain cart, and it looked brand new and clean. I know we have changed these before. Oil is cheaper than a gearbox, but at the same time, the oil doesn't look broke down at all in the slightest. I don't want to be wasting money. I'm probably gonna get roasted in the comments for that. Still change your oil, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Why does this say it's over full, like to the max? Not cool potatoes. Oh my gosh. It literally says it's completely full. Who the heck did that? It wasn't me. I promise you that, Joey. Well, I can't promise you that. I guess I'm gonna pull the plug on this and drain a little oil out of here. Actually, I pulled the plug on this one, and I am gonna change the oil because this oil does not look new. It looks used and it's broke down. So this one's getting a change. Getting the grain trailers all hooked up. The trailers still need grease, and we gotta check tires. Okay, Brandon's topping the oil off in the 6420 here. Hydraulic transmission and everything oil. Because it likes to leak religiously, and we've tried replacing the seal, but you guys I'm sure have some old tractors or familiar with stuff that just leaks and you just keep adding oil because that's just what that tractor's known for, and that's just what you do. He's getting oil on that, so we hooked that up to hopefully the bagger. Instead of running the bagger on the 7R210, we're gonna run it on this thing. Doesn't cost us nearly as much money to put hours on this old of a little tractor than it does that big 7R210. Next order of business I'm working on now is I got the gearbox oil on this third header changed. I pulled the plug. It was cloudy. It was dirty. It needed it. I need to run a grease gun to it yet. Side gearboxes are all checked and filled. They needed a little bit. They were a tad low. Cameron's working up here on the header. I caused some mass destruction last year with some rocks. I decided it was the combine identified as a rock picker and not a combine. So now he's fixing my destruction. Also, I had a rock last year. I remember wedge in here and tear my canvas. Maybe should get a new one, but I'm gonna send it. All right, Jed? Right. That's right. Give your uncle a high five. And who's your favorite uncle?
That's my Jimmy.
That's right. Molly, are you okay? Just old? Okay. That's good. Oh, more greasing. Hopefully it goes better than this morning went. Some of you may call this being cheap. I'm gonna call it not being wasteful. So this tire last year got a hole in it, started going low. I aired it up every single day to get through the season to finish out. And I found the hole is on the sidewall here. Not exactly cool potatoes, because you can't patch a sidewall on a tire. The tire is considered shot unless you get a tube and tube it. So what I did, took a push plug, rammed it in. It's holding air-ish, so that's how I'm gonna send it this season. Hopefully that tire makes it another year. Maybe another year after that, and another year after that, and then hopefully by then we have traded the machine in and it's no longer our problem. But maybe it's being cheap. I'm gonna say not being wasteful. Brandon did end up getting the bagger hooked up here. We're definitely going to need to store some grain with the way prices are, because we do not want to give it away. The one dilemma with this tractor I'm kind of concerned about, actually there's two. Not having enough horsepower, kind of on the edge of having enough. And then the other issue is, are we gonna have enough hydraulic power? Because this semi unload is all ran off hydraulic, not PTO. That's gonna be an issue if we don't have enough. And we'll have to go on the 7R then. There's one! There's two! I'm scared! Don't go to the shot! There he is! He's in the rim right there. I see him in the hole. Get him, Cameron! Get him! Get back here, Nibbles! Oh, we got him. Just taking a nap permanently. Okay, let's see how many more are in there. I'm airing up semi-tires. They needed to be checked and they're all kind of at like 85 PSI. So I'm just getting them back up to that 105 where they're supposed to be. And I found one that's leaking right there. It's got a screw in it. So I'm gonna have to take that apart and patch that. Go figure. A tire flat on our farm.